All right, we are recorded. Welcome to the fifth annual Bold Like a Mother Vision and Strategy Party for Moms. So we host each year a live online vision and strategy party that allows moms to conveniently attend an event that's for them, that allows them to really write out goals for the new year, things that they want to accomplish, things that they want to that they've long desired to reach, but just don't really know the right strategy to reach those goals. So you're at the right place if you're looking to reach bolder goals. If you're just looking, no matter what area in your life, whether that's your emotional, your mental, your relationship, your personal, professional life, we're here to give you key tips and insight throughout the night that just relates to things that we would like to discuss with you. So whether that's a transparent insight on like what things have you faced as far as overcoming goals and how do you push through, and up to information on strategies to win. So you will hear a variety of topics, and we decided to keep it open this year, so it's not formal where we have a specific topic. This allows for us to have intimate conversations with each of you, and I want to thank each and every one of you for registering and purchasing a ticket to attend. I know that we have a few people that were not able to come, but this session is recorded and you will have access to it, a lifetime access. You always have the link. So to get started, we're going to kick it off with one of my favorite friends, and she's going to be our host for tonight, our official MC for tonight. She is Lakia L.B. Brandenburg, also known as the Wife Coach, and I am going to read her bio. Okay, so LB, she is the wife to Derek, coach to wives. LB is the wife coach. She is a two-time best-selling author who is committed to helping women who are married and are planning to be to know the difference between being a married woman and being a dynamic wife. Hello, all the wives out there. So LB empowers women to get rid of the fairy tale syndrome and create a more realistic vision for their marriage and role as a wife by tapping into the power of the P and knowing when to tame your tongue. Her clients are taught how to live the happy wife life and create their own picture perfect marriage. And speaking of picture perfect, like this is not a setup. But I have your book at the top in Brentley's room. So here it is. This is a copy of LB's book, Picture Perfect. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. But together we are picture perfect. There's a special edition out there. So nothing else to say, but like you're going to be super excited to interact with LB tonight because she is so totally awesome. I'm introducing our official MC for tonight, Miss LB.
Good evening. Happy Thankful Thursday, everybody, and a Merry New Year to you. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. We're so formal and we're so informal. Right. But I want to thank you all. I really do. I want to say thank you. And like I said, happy Thankful Thursday. Before we even get started, let me say thank you to you, Dominique. Dominique is a wife. She's a mom. She's an entrepreneur. She's an engineer. Okay. Hello. She is really creating this platform for moms who have big dreams and just giving us access so that we can make our dreams come true. So thank you so much for doing that. I want to also thank you in advance to all of our amazing speakers, our phenomenal speakers tonight, for being able to share your inspiration through your personal stories, giving specific strategies that are going to help take these moms' dreams, goals to the next level in 2019. And I want to also say thank you to every mom who is on here, every woman who was either investing in a ticket or received a ticket. Notice I said investing, because I want us to get out of the mindset of spending money. I want us to get into the mindset of investing, because when you invest something, ladies, and this is going to be, a very informal, so talk to me. When you invest something, you're expecting a what?
Return.
A return.
Yes. Yes.
So I want to look at this as an investment that you've made so that you can get a return on what it is that you specifically need. So did I say thank you?
Yes.
Did I say thank you? Okay, because what y'all don't really realize is that the Vision Board Party is starting right now. Like, I just gave you your first strategy. And over the years, I have developed an attitude of gratitude. And the more that I give thanks, the more things are appearing in my life for me to be thankful for. Mm-hmm. Write that down. That's your first strategy. That's your first tip. The more I give thanks, the more things are appearing in my life for me to be thankful for. All right. So I really want you all to have an attitude of gratitude. I'm actually just receiving an email from one of your participants who needs the link, Nian. So I'm sending this to her right now. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I know we're a little behind schedule, but like Dominique was saying, this isn't a very formal vision board party. I'm excited because I'm in my PJs. I'm at the house, I'm washing clothes. I got my wine. My girls are upstairs. This is like the perfect vision board setup. So I'm super excited that you all have made the investment in the time to be here. Are y'all ready to get this party started?
Yes, yes.
All right, y'all. So look, there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be shared this evening. But what I want y'all to do is be very intentional so that it won't be an information overload. You know how you get so much information from conferences and you're like, oh my God, I want to do this, I want to do that, but you have no idea where to start and there's a lot of confusion that sets in. We want to make sure that you're being very intentional. You are here for something. So if you hear something from one of the speakers and you're like, you know what, that resonates with my spirit, write it down. If you have what Oprah calls that aha moment and you're like, you know what, I never thought of that before, write that down. If you feel like one of the speakers is talking to you and you're like, oh my God, she's talking to me, guess what? She's talking to you, write that down, all right? So I wanna make sure that we're very strategic with even how we're taking our notes this evening so that we can get the most out of this whole vision board strategy experience, all right? Now, after our first two speakers, we are going to take a quick intermission, which will be our Q&A session, and we're gonna recap some of the amazing things that we heard from our speakers, all right? Let's go ahead and get this party started. Our very first speaker is a leadership guru, empowerment figure, and masterful teacher charged with connecting others in their purpose and destiny. With her signature programs and consulting services, she leads others to embrace their power, up-level their confidence, and own their genius so they can enjoy personal and financial success. Please help me welcome Paula Lachelle Farmer.
Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Good evening. I'm excited to be with you this evening, and I really like the fact that this is kind of laid back. So thank you, Dominique, for that. And thank you to our wonderful hostess. That was awesome. She got her wine. She's in her PJs. That's the wrong memo. I could have been in PJs, right? But I love this. I love time with other women, especially women of color. I mean, we come in all different shades and sizes and things, and I love spending this kind of time with you and with your audience today. So thank you again for having me here. Listen, it's always tough for the first person coming out of the gate because you kind of set the pace. But I heard you say something at the beginning, Dominique, that it's kind of laid back, and we're just going to be ourselves, right? We're just going to be ourselves and share these nuggets. So hopefully and prayerfully, I'll share some things on tonight, and I plan to be on here so I can receive some things on tonight that's going to help me go forward, not only in my career, in my life as a mother, because I am a mother, and my marriage, and also from a spiritual standpoint. So I just want to share a few things on tonight. I just feel like as women, we always have a lot of things that are pressure for us. You know, we're mothers. That's one thing that we all have in common. My children happen to be, I'm going to take a stab and say that I'm probably the oldest one on here, and I'm good with that because it beats the alternative, right? My children are a little older, and as a matter of fact, Dominique, you went to school with my baby girl, right? So I've had a few years to go through some trials and errors, but one of the things I wanted to talk to and share with ladies on tonight is it's a couple of things. Actually, it's three things. They all happen to start with the letter P. I didn't necessarily try to make it go down that path, but when I thought about what can I share tonight that's going to help us in 2019 to stay focused and to help us to not be afraid of some of these big, audacious goals that we have, and to help us to continue to strive towards the mark, right? It's interesting. I just got off a call. One of the things that I'm involved in right now is I have a small group, and I'm teaching them how to write a book. One of the things that I do, I am a professor at a local HBCU. So I'm a professor for entrepreneurial leadership. So I'm teaching people how to really go after their dreams. And one of the things I'm not saying is that being an entrepreneur is for everybody. I'm not saying that, but I am saying if it's something that is in your heart, something that's in your spirit, there's definitely a lot of opportunity to have the kind of life that you want to have. And for everybody, it doesn't mean quitting your job. You can be an entrepreneur and still have your job. So to have a dream and to want to do some things, regardless of what it is, you can do that. And I'm a prime example of that. So just a little bit of history. I had a career in HR. I still have a career in HR. Actually, I'm an HR consultant, maybe for 32 years. So that's one of the things that I did. But my background is in HR. I've got a black belt. I'm a coach. I'm all these different things. And I have learned from being in corporate America a lot of things. But probably my biggest lessons have been from, being a mom and knowing that I was responsible, along with their dad, my husband, for raising two humans. And that's a big responsibility. So in doing that, I had to teach them through my actions, how do you live a life that's yours? Because we don't have a baby and when they send us home with instruction manual that says this is how you raise the baby, right? Mm-hmm. This is how you love the baby. This is how you teach the baby. We don't get those instruction manuals. So we take the things that we know. We take those lessons that we've seen other strong women. My grandmother, who we used to call Big Mother when she was living, Big Mama, my mother, some aunts, some friends, girlfriends or whatever. And we take these lessons, we take these things that we see from other people and we pray that they're doing the right thing, right? Because we know that there are two things that we see. We see the life that people want to portray, including us, the life that we want to portray and the life that they actually have. Sometimes we get an opportunity to go behind the curtain. So we take those things, those nuggets that we learn, and we try to teach our children those things. So when you talk about a vision board party, I got very excited when Dominique was talking about that. When you hear the word party, it's going to be some exciting things happening. So when you're thinking about your vision and being a mom and all those things, and so one of the things that comes to the surface to me is the word power. How do we take our power and how do we take that power and make that something that's going to be sustainable, right? So again, tonight I'm talking from the standpoint of an entrepreneur. I know we all do a lot of different things, but how do you take that power and make it something sustainable? So in 2011, when I decided to launch my business, I decided to do it. And of course I did it with the help of my husband. He's like, okay, you can go ahead and quit your job. And we both are like, we got to be crazy for doing this. But I had seen so many women in corporate America be successful. And I had seen so many women, on television, in Hollywood, and even up close in different organizations. I had seen them do successful things that I said to myself, you know what, I can do that. I have the power in myself to do that. I have good power to communicate. I have the power to, as the word says, and I am a woman of faith and I don't make any apologies for that, but I have the power to get wealth. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, how do I take the power that I have, the power from my knowledge, the power from my circle of influence, right? There are 6 degrees of separation. And so we all know a lot of people who know a lot of people who know a lot of people. And so how do I take all that and how do I take my personal power as a woman and get what I want? So for 2019, I have totally shifted my paradigm. I've been in business, again, as I said, since 2011. But because I've seen so many other successful women, I'm not trying to create this in a box, right? I'm not trying to do the Paula Farmer thing. I'm trying to do the thing that's going to be the most beneficial for me as a woman and for my family. So I've been watching and I've been paying attention. And now I know how to best utilize my power, right? My power of communication, my power of influence, right? My power of seeing what works and doesn't work. I've been able to capitalize that and say, okay, this is what I need to do. So for 2019, I've already started. I'm rebranding and doing so many different things. So the P word, the power word, what I'm saying to you is do not take your power for granted. And I think a lot of times as women, we do that because we feel like I don't have enough degrees, right? Or I don't have enough experience, or I can't do certain things because we see other people doing things and we make some assumptions about that. Social media can be the trick, right? For us to watch what people are doing. Now, I'm not saying it's bad what people are doing. Everybody that we see doing good things is not, putting on a facade. But what I am saying is we have to watch not only with our physical eyes, but with our spiritual eyes in order to have our power to be elevated, right? So we have to use discernment. That's a form of power. So we have to do all those things. But the fact of the matter is we can see what other people are doing and we can decide one of two things. One, I can be just as powerful as she is, right? It doesn't take anything away from her and it doesn't take anything away from me for us all to be great. Or two, I know what not to do. How many times have you seen a young lady on social media and you're like, and that's not what you want to do. I want to use my power in a different kind of way. So that's one of the words that I wanted to share. Another word that I wanted to share was one of my favorites is prayer. So I've noticed from one of the things I do, even as a consultant and as a coach, what I've noticed is even with my clients in corporate America, it almost never fails for them to say, so what did you say you do again? I'm an HR consultant, right? That's what you're paying me to do. No. What else is it that you do? I don't know what you're talking about. It's something about you, right? Have you ever heard somebody say or ask you or make the comment, it's something, what is it with you? It's something about you, right? I know y'all get that. I know you do. Just do like that because I know y'all get that. Because I think some of it is not always a spiritual thing. But I think some of it is just as women, we have this intuition. We have this extra thing that God gave us and people see that and it's bright and it's attractive and it's beautiful. So even with my clients, they're like, it's something about you. And so if they pressure me too much and if they open the door, then I have a conversation about it, but I'm not the one that introduces it. But at the end of the day, prayer is very powerful. So I not only prayed to the Lord that he would continue to, to keep me strong, to keep me healthy so I can continue to live a fruitful life and help other people and do all these other things. I pray from a business perspective. Again, I'm coming tonight not only as a mother, but as an entrepreneur. And hopefully that's some of our viewers' vision for 2019 is to, if you're not going to full-fledged become an entrepreneur, at least begin the groundwork for doing that. But one of the things I have learned is to pray not only for myself, but for the people that I serve and ask God to show me things and ask God to give me strategies and ask God to help me to see things that I can't see with my natural eyes. And believe it or not, it works. There's nobody that has a PhD in prayer or anybody that can say, oh, I'm the best intercessor you ever seen in your life. We all can have a relationship with the Lord through prayer. And he opens up his, I'm going to call it a treasure chest, so to speak, of gifts to us, and it's accessible through prayer. So I think that's one of the benefits that I would say to anybody that's really trying to launch something for 2019, regardless of what it is, regardless of what your vision is to make sure you integrate prayer into your life, right? I'm not saying that as a member of X, Y, and Z church. I'm not saying that even as a minister. I'm saying that prayer is a tool that we all could have in our toolkit. So if you don't hear anything else I say tonight, integrate prayer into your life. It doesn't have to be anything deep. It doesn't have to be that you're an expert, but it will, if you tap into that, it will open up opportunities for you to see things differently, for you to be able to analyze things differently. So for me, as a mother, it's always been a powerful piece of my life. Even when my kids were growing up as teenagers, the prayer, Lord, let them get home safely, because when they get here, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them, right? So even as a mother, so prayer was an important part of my life. But the other P is peace. Peace. And so our goals for 2019, some of us have goals that may be a little difficult, are going to be a little difficult for us to reach. But what I want you to do is to try to have peace in it. Try to not let it bring you anxiety. Try not to be in competition with anybody but yourself. Have peace about, and peace from the standpoint of being confident, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing that you can accomplish it. There is not anything on this earth that I don't think that I can do, right? It takes resources, which are other people. It takes the things I talked about, prayer and power and all those other things. But I try to keep myself grounded and rooted in who I know that I am and to not limit myself, right? So if I try to fly like a bird, I know that I can't do that, but I can get into something that flies like a bird, which is a plane. And that's what I'm saying. We have to have peace, and that leads us to the strategies and to the resources that we need to get things done. I don't have to fly like a bird. I can get on a plane, right? So when you're in a peaceful state and you're not anxious about things and you're not just all over the place feeling like I can't do this, you know, because this person did it and she has this or he has this or whatever. You got to have a state of peace. You got to, one of my favorite scriptures is peace. The B portion of the scripture is the peace that passes all understanding. And we have to be okay knowing that some things we're not going to understand, but we know that we got power. We got the power of prayer, and we got peace in the thing. So, I mean, kind of that's it. The thing that I wanted to share tonight, there are so many things I thought about sharing, but when I thought about how to get it, you know, in one nice little ball so it's understandable. And I like what our hostess said at the beginning, that it's not so complicated. And when you walk away from a thing, because I've gone to several conferences like that, I'm like, so why did I pay my money to come here? And what is it that I really learned? You know, you forget because it's too much to grasp. But power, prayer, and peace, let that be your guide for 2019, or one of your guides. Let power be the thing that you're like, you know, I can do this. I got the power, I got the ability, I have to know how, and if I don't know how, I can ask somebody else, but I know there's power on the inside of me that I can tap into where I can do this, and I can always pray about it. I don't need permission to pray. Sometimes I can just pray in my mind when I don't feel like praying out loud, or I don't have the strength to pray out loud, or whatever the case may be. And then I'm going to have peace about this thing. I'm not going to let this thing take me to an early grave. I got some big goals. I got some big dreams, but I know that I can accomplish them. I know there are people out there who want to help me, and I'm just going to have peace about it. So with all the things we have on our plates as mothers, as women, as wives, one thing we don't need to be burdened by is our dreams and our minds, and the legacy that we want to leave not only for our children, but our children's children, and all those types of things. So hopefully this is encouraging to somebody, and I hope it has been enlightening to you on tonight. Power, prayer, and peace.
Everybody give it up for Paula. Give it up for Paula. I know y'all muted.
That was outstanding.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. You talking about you don't know how you were going to go first. We needed that GPS because you are guiding us right along on tonight. We're going to move right along to our next speaker, y'all. We just getting started. We are just getting started. Our next speaker is a productivity coach, life strategist, and author who is passionate about igniting purpose to help women identify and achieve their goals. She challenges women through accountability and introspection to set milestones, tackle their vices, and operate in their power by accomplishing their mission. Please help me welcome the Igniter, Rose-Ann Uwege.
Hey, ladies. How's everybody doing? You feeling good? You feeling good?
Feel amazing.
All right, so Minister Paula, where can I send my offering? Like, we're not just gonna leave like that. Like, I'm gonna need to give you some money for something. Like, where do I send my tithes? But anyways, ladies, we're gonna have an amazing night. Right, Harmony? We're not just gonna let her go like that.
I was like, I was getting chills. I'm like, whoa.
I'm telling you. Like, I got a word, I have notes and all. Good. And what I love about what she said is, you know, she started with pressure, which is realistic. As women, we face pressure. We have a lot on our plates because we're the nurturers. We take up a lot, and it's a fact. But what I love is that she ended with hope. So you can have a fact, but what's the truth? The truth is that when you have God in your life, anything is possible, and He gives you that peace that passes all understanding. So Minister Paula, we thank you for that word. And I just love the energy in here tonight. I feel like you ladies are just hungry for something. You have amazing plans for 2019, and we are here to help you kick it off so that we can stop dabbling in our goals, dabbling in our dreams, but like actually getting off the sideline and going right into that water. All right? I just love the energy, love the collaboration, and, you know, let's get it started. So basically, you know, Dominique said to me, hey, would you be a part of this? And I said yes immediately, because why not? She's amazing. Who's going to say no to Dominique, right? So pretty much she asked me to share.
Bless you.
Thank you, love. She asked me to share my story, just give a little bit of tips, and then share more about my services. So one of the things I love about what Dominique is doing and why I want to be a part of this is because she has this amazing platform where she just wants to help women optimize the work that they do. Work-life harmony is very important to me, and Dominique is approaching it from a different perspective, which is so critical. It is mission critical to get her information and get the awareness to everyone so that women can have a better lifestyle, so women can be seen as the amazing woman that they are and not be boxed into, you're a woman or you're a mom, but just seeing the full potential that women have. So I'll share a little bit about me. I'm an American-born Jamaican, so this is my little sorrel. This is a hibiscus drink. I don't know if y'all ever heard about a sorrel, but it's a Jamaican drink.
Yeah, man.
I was born in Connecticut, and then I moved to Jamaica when I was a baby, 6 weeks old. I stayed there until I was 16. I finished high school, and then I came to New York. By the age of 21, I finished my associate degrees in travel, tourism, and hospitality. Then I did my bachelor's in psychology and communication, and then I did my master's in corporate communication. I've had different roles in event planning, consulting, retail, customer service, fast food, the whole nine. And then in 2008, I took a 10-month contract to teach English in China for 2 years. It was an amazing experience. And then I came back to New York in 2010, and I worked in employment. Then I quickly moved over to human resources and benefits. Then they trained me to do payroll, accounts payable, procurement, IT. So pretty much I'm doing like all those different things. And you're kind of like, well, where's this going? Like your life is just kind of like, can we have a straight line? You have some people who they wake up and they say, listen, I've been putting things together since I was 3. I've been drawing this. I want to be an architect. I want to be an engineer. Or you have certain cultures where the parents tell you, no, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a lawyer. So you already know where you're going, right? But my life hasn't always been this well-orchestrated plan where you go to med school, you become a doctor. You go to law school, you become a lawyer. That has not always been my life. So in 2013, in January, I started dating this man. By July of 2013, I was engaged. And by October of 2013, I was married. Now, this is an amazing man. He's a Nigerian guy. We've known each other for about 13 years now, and we've been married for 5 years. So that's 2013. All that happened in 2013. Fast forward 10 months later, I'm a mother. I have a son. And then in 2016, I'm a mother of 2 sons. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because there were demands on my resources. As women, we are natural nurturers. So I love being a mom. I love being a wife. But there was a woman before that mom. There's a woman before that wife. And she had dreams. There was a little girl who always wanted to travel, always wanted to write a book, always wanted to be happy, right? And then you kind of feel like as a mom, those things get put on the back burner. Like, okay, well, I have a wife. I have to do what makes my husband happy. I have children. I have to put my life on hold until they're 18 or 21 or whatever number you make up in your head, because it's all in your head, right? So right now, I work as a productivity coach. So I still have that job where I'm doing the benefits, the payroll, the AP. I'm still doing all that, but I'm doing productivity coaching. So the point of me telling you all of this is a lot of times you look at your life and you're saying, it's not one straight direction. It's going in all different places. But guess what? I coach these amazing women, and I'm not saying that to brag, but I have doctors, I have lawyers, I have reporters, I have journalists, I have engineers, right? But because of all these different jobs that I've done, that gave me a broader horizon. So now I can relate to different people based on my experiences and my education. So that's my point of telling you all that background. It has nothing to do with, my accomplishments. It's about when you look at your life, you get to write your story. So I decided that, I love being a mom, I love being a wife, but these people are taking up all my time. And I have these dreams, I have these goals, and motherhood is not a graveyard, okay? It is not a cemetery. Motherhood is not where dreams go to die. So you take back your power, like Ms. Paula said, you take your power and you say, okay, where do I want my life to go? And what do? You write it down. You write down your goal. You write down your vision. You write your own story. So I wrote my story and I said, I want to be a woman who ignites passion in other women to complete and to fulfill their dreams. So my business is called Light a Fire. It could be a spark. It could be a campfire, a bonfire. It could be whatever, but you're going to light a fire, right? And sometimes it's me lighting fire under your tail, like, listen, you got to do this, right? But that's my goal. That's my dream. That's my vision. So I have an amazing opportunity to work as a productivity coach. So a few things I want to say to you. It's 2019, and statistically speaking, only about 80% of people who, set their goals, it's a very small number of people who accomplish them. Because like LB said in the beginning, you go to conferences, you have the hype, but there's no skill, there's no strategy, there's no intention, there's no focus. So you leave with the hype, you leave with the excitement, but you don't have a plan or tools or the resources to get to where you need to be. So don't put too much pressure in 2019, like, oh, it's 2019, here are the 25 things that I want to accomplish. What you need to do is, one, have an abundant mindset. An abundant mindset. Why do I say this? When you have an abundant mindset, you say to yourself, I am enough. There is enough. Because once you start to say there isn't enough, that's you making excuses. Once you think that there is not enough resources, there's not enough time, then you're making excuses. Time is your friend, right? Time is not your enemy. You need to become friends with time. Why? Because that's what life is. Life is seconds, it's minutes, it's hours, it's days. So how you spend your time, that's how you're spending your life. So that's why I want you to adopt that abundant mindset, that you are enough, there is enough, and stop making excuses. So if you're writing it down, number one, I want you to adopt an abundant mindset. Number two, write them goals down, right? So when I was talking to Dominique, she said, teach people how to, she's like, talk about whatever you want to do, but I really want them to walk away with, you don't need a lot of time to get things done. I wrote a book. Where's my book? I wrote this book in 10 minutes. 10 minutes per day, right? Because I said, I have 2 children. I'm never going to have 2 hours sitting down. Somebody's going to interrupt me. There are dishes to be washed. LB is smart. She's doing laundry right now, right? But I live in Jersey. We don't have our own washing machines. I got to go to the laundromat, right? But if I'm at the laundromat, I can write. If I'm on the bus commuting from Jersey to New York, guess who's writing? Guess who's having conference calls? Guess who's working? Guess who's reading? That's me. You find pockets of time. There are 24 hours in a day, and I'm not giving up my sleep. So I had to find it somewhere else, right? So I'm doing it on the bus. I'm doing it on the train. My lunch break, that's 1 whole hour. Don't tell me you don't have time. Because if I had an app to track how much time you spend on social media, I ain't judging nobody, but I'm just saying. If I had an app to find out how much time you spend on social media, and if I even see 20 minutes, don't tell me you don't have time. So back to this book. I wrote this book 10 minutes a day because I knew if I said 1 hour, the first day I would start to get discouraged. I'd start to feel overwhelmed, like, man, I missed it. Next day, I missed it. But when I started with 10 minutes, 1 or 2 things happened. Either A, I wrote for 10 minutes and I was like, all right, goal done, next. Or 2, I wrote for 10 minutes and momentum built. And then I looked up and I'm like, oh, it's been 11 minutes. It's 12 minutes. 25 minutes, go girl, right? So you start with bite-sized pieces. You don't lose weight 100 pounds at a time. You lose weight 1 pound at a time. So how are you trying to write a book in 1 day, right? Whatever your goal is, break it down into bite-sized pieces, but also schedule time. If we're looking at time as 24 hours, you're never just going to have more time. You have to make that time. You have to carve that time out. So if you say, okay, I want to lose weight. All right, let's do it. What does that look like? Is it 5 minutes on the treadmill? Is it 10 minutes on the treadmill? Is it going to the gym once per week because you can't commit to 5 days per week? That's what I'm talking about. Write it down, break it down into bite-sized pieces, schedule time to accomplish them. And then the last tip I'd say is accountability. I have some of the most supportive friends, but one thing that was critical for me was to burn my cape. I remember when I had my first child, I was enjoying motherhood so much that every time someone said, hey, let me watch your baby. Hey, let me give you some time off. I'm like, I'm good. I really didn't realize that I needed time because I was enjoying the time with my child. But one day my friend was like, bro, just let me take care of the baby. I'm like, okay. And I tasted that freedom. I said, oh, okay. I could sleep. I could do what I want to do. And I could trust you with my kid, or my kid could just be in the other room. this could work. So I started asking for help. In essence, I burned my superwoman cape, because the only super that I want is that supernatural that's added when God puts his super on my natural ability. That's the only super that I'm looking for. I burn that cape, and that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, listen, sometimes I'll joke with them like, all right, superwoman, you knocked out 2,500 tasks today. That's great. But I tell them in a minute, burn that cape. Burn that cape. And I tell my kids all the time. So I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. My 2-year-old will wake me up, even if my husband is outside watching TV. It doesn't matter. He will climb over my husband to wake me up. And then he'll say, eat. And I'm like, he's like so bossy. So I'll say to him, wake up, Papa. Wake up, Papa. And he's like, no, he's sleeping. I'm like, well, hold on. So my husband is sleeping, and that's okay, but mommy can't get us some rest. I tell them all the time, I said, listen, honey, you have 2 parents, and we are equally capable.
Right.
If you want something, my husband is sure capable to get water. So, just burn the cape. And if you have people who are supportive, it doesn't have to be your husband. It doesn't have to be your mother. You build your own tribe. You build your own community. And it's mutual. It's not that you're always taken from them. But if you have people who want to sow into you and you're willing to sow back into them, you make use of that. So the accountability piece, you get your friends if you can't afford a coach. Shameless plug. If you can't afford a coach, hey, I'm over here, productivity coach. But seriously though, get that accountability and get that support. Because a lot of productivity has to do with mindset. It starts with a desire, but you also need cheerleaders building you up. You may have some days when you're like, I don't know if this was a good idea. I think I made a mistake. You need that friend. It doesn't have to be your husband. It doesn't have to be your sister. It doesn't have to be your mom. You need that friend who will tell you, keep going. I believe in you.
Love it.
I think I gave y'all enough.
Oh
You
my
good?
goodness.
You good?
Y'all give it up for Roseanne.
Thank you.
Give it up for you. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Let me get it straight.
I'm muted,
We open up
everybody.
today,
So.
y'all. This is powerful. We got to take our power. We have to pray and ask for peace so we can burn that cake. Did y'all catch that?
Put it all together.
Put it all together. Power of prayer. And I love that, Paula, when you talk about the power. As a life coach, that's one thing that I always tell my wives. There's power in the peace. And that's your position. I don't know what I'm wrong with. I'm keeping it clean. It's your position. So if we understand how to really tap into our power, how to use prayer as our power, how to use peace as our power. That's a beautiful thing. So at this time, we are going to open up the floor for Q&A. If you all
I can hear you.
this is your vision board. Hey, Mom, y'all all right? Okay. We are going to open up the floor. This is your vision board experience, your strategy session. So please ask Holly, please ask Roseanne any specific questions that you need to get what you want in order to move forward. Do you have any questions about your power, tapping into your power? Do you have any questions about an accountability partner or writing down your specific goals? This is your opportunity to ask any specific questions to these phenomenal women. Y'all ready?
Rue, I have a question.
Hey, Julissa.
Hi. I just have a question. I didn't get the name of your book.
Oh, for me? So
Yeah.
I have a book called Plug-In. And then I have a book called 7 pounds, 13 ounces, and that was my son's birth weight. I'll put it in the chat. I'll do that.
I was going to say if we can maybe get your books as well as LB's book as well, maybe how to purchase them.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right, any other questions? Thank you, Julissa Ann.
Somebody has feedback.
Let me see. Any other questions? All right. If you think of anything, make sure you write it down. I'm also in the chat room. So if you all want to put something in the chat room, I'll be more than happy to ask the questions for you if that helps. All right. We're going to keep this party started. Already started. Keep it going. All right, here we go. We're moving into the second part, y'all. And I'm so excited because we are really about to pick up momentum with our amazing job you guys did with the foundation. But we're about to pick up momentum with our next speaker. So moving right along. Again, make sure you're writing down your aha moments and everything that you need for your specific goals and dreams. Our next speakers are the hosts of the Great Girlfriends Show. It's the podcast conversation series created to connect women with daily tips and solutions for living a passionate life and building thriving businesses. Serving up conversations that matter to women, this sensational podcast ranges in topics from starting a thrilling business to forgiving double-crossing girlfriends, to building an amazing love life and so much more. Please help me welcome Sybil Abuti and Brandis Danielle.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi. We can hear you.
You can hear us. Awesome. Okay, so you can't see me. Here's my confession. I'm going to be really 100 and let you guys know I am not video ready. And the reason is that I had like Hurricane 5 level cramps today that felt like were going to take me out. So sips tea, I see you. And so, right, everybody take a sip on that. Y'all know what that's like. So, Brandis is representing visually for me. I would be as cute as Brandis is right now.
Hey, Brandis. Y'all cute.
Hey, Brandis. Hey, Sybil.
Hey, Dominique. Brandis, are you on mute?
Let me unmute her.
Yeah, unmute her.
I unmute. She's muted from her phone.
Okay. Brandis, do you want me to start, babe?
There she goes.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Yay.
There
hey
she
guys,
is.
y'all ain't hear none of my clapping and all of my enthusiasm. You guys missed all of that. But anyway, I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we're super happy. Brandis is in Memphis right now, and I'm out here in Jersey. And I know we have 15 minutes, so we wanted to make sure that in these 15 minutes, we did everything in our power to tell you how great life can be as a great girlfriend, wife, mom, and how horrible it can be in the same day. And how in every one of those moments, you have to be fully present, fully active, and fully intentional at the end of the day, right? So, B, I'll start, and then you just chop me off, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
So for those of you who have not listened to Great Girlfriends, check it out. It's a super dope podcast. We started it 3 years ago, and when we started it, I was in the transition of a career. I had 2 small children. My son was 5. No, my son was 5. My daughter was 3. I was just coming out of a position at a company and wanted to spend more time focusing on supporting women. Brandis was pregnant. Okay, so it's like we had 2 babies there once. But that was a passion that we decided to put into a podcast business, and is now doing very well. So I ask that you guys check it out when you have a chance. But on the inside of the podcast, you learn a lot about our daily adventures and lessons that we've learned. And in 2011, I learned probably one of the greatest lessons of my life, which was that my faith meant something to other people. So I have been married for 13 years now. And again, I have 2 children. I have a 9 and a 7. And my first pregnancy was a vaginal birth, 9 pounds, 4 ounce boy named Samuel, who is an amazing kid. And my second pregnancy was a vaginal 8-2. But see the diet, my daughter, 18, chromosomal defect. And my internet's unstable. What? Devil is a liar. Hear me? I have never even seen that. Not tonight. So it's a chromosomal defect. It happens to over 1 in 1,000 is an average chance that you'll have it. My daughter, 1 in 60. So she was the question was, how would we manage life with a child with chromosomal defects? How would we manage it? If you've never heard of trisomy 18, it's ultimately a vegetated state for a child. And webbed hands, webbed feet. 1 in 10 live the first week of their life. 1 in 5 live the first year of their life. And so my doctors weren't asking me if I was going to keep her. My doctors were suggesting that I say goodbye early. And if you've never had anybody tell you to say goodbye early to a child that you want to deliver, it's like someone taking your life from you. So I had a choice in that moment, and it wasn't between me and my husband. It wasn't between me and my girlfriends. It was a me and God moment. And as a mom, you have these moments where no one can answer for you. No one can decide for you. No one can make the choice for you. You have to have enough assurance in your heart, enough intuition to know what your decisions will be. So I came home telling my husband about the diagnosis and how we were going to fight for this baby, and telling him how, it was going to be between me and God. We're going to make sure we have this baby. And 9 months later, we delivered a healthy baby. There's a lot of details in between because it wasn't a smooth ride. It was a lot of attempts of the enemy. But what it showed me was that as a mom, there is nothing greater than our intuition. There's nothing greater than us understanding the grace that God allows us as women to know what's needed for our children in the time that they need it. There's nothing greater than us being courageous and bold enough to stand up for our children and set vision for their lives. For me, well before she was born, but also on a daily basis, it taught me that my confidence in God was needed to serve as a visionary vessel for her life, not just for her, my children. My son's delivery made me think that it was going to always be easy. My daughter's delivery taught me that there were ever-present threats against my children's lives that I never even took the time to think of, and that if I didn't pursue God for their lives, it would be so subtle and so easy for people to speak against them and me believe them because I hadn't had a faith foot in the ground. So my encouragement to you tonight as women who are setting vision and casting your direction for the year and your expectation for your entire world is to allow your intuition, your instinct to be the guiding voice for what you need to be as a mom, how you need to serve your children, what you need to outsource, how you need to move in your grace to say yes, and your power and courage to say no, how you show up, what your presence will look like for your children, what your capabilities are. Do you need to be everything to them all the time, or do you need to help them experience God? So you create gaps where I'm not available. And you're not going to like it. So you're going to need to go before God as a child. Get your courage and your prayers up. If you don't like the decision that mommy and daddy or mommy have to make right now, you need to take that to the Lord in prayer. Don't take it to me. I'm not your sounding board. Teaching your kids a relationship with God so that when those moments come up, everyone has them. It's the moment. And those moments are isolated moments where you can make a quick decision, right? And in that quick decision, it changes the entire fate of your life because you don't feel like you have counsel. But God is always there to guide with counsel and the assurance that we need. But sometimes we isolate that voice because it's more comforting to have a shoulder to lean on. And so we confuse our instinct. And I think it leaves us feeling like our instinct isn't powerful enough to show or guide us. So what I'm encouraging all of you to do tonight is, as you set the vision, God, what is my role in your vision for my life? What's my role in your vision for my life? What's my role in your vision for my life as a woman? What's my role in your vision for my life as a mother? If you're a wife, if you're a spouse, a significant other, what's my role in your vision for my life as X, Y, and Z? And when he gives it to you, just write it down. Don't debate it. Don't think about how you're going to make it happen. Don't get caught up in the steps. But how am I going to do that, God? Da, da, da. If we had gotten caught up in the steps, let me tell you something. There will be no podcast called The Great Girlfriends. There will be no businesses. Brandon and I both own businesses. The husbands will barely be standing because I'm telling you, that's a whole other, machine. And we wouldn't be on this call tonight setting aside time for what's important, which is pouring into one another so that we all feel equipped. So what's my role, Lord, in your vision concerning me as a woman, a wife, a mom, an employer, a female founder, whatever it is, as a person whose life is available to you in 2019? What does that look like? God, I'm asking you, what is your direction for my children in 2019? Call them by name, different direction for different children. No two kids are the same, so we can't parent them the exact way and expect to purpose them in the way that they're supposed to be led. What's your will concerning Sam, God? What's your will concerning Dylan? I need to know specifically for these children. Dylan's taking classes Sam won't take. Sam's taking classes Dylan won't take. Okay, so that brings me to my next question. Dylan, who are the people and resources that are in place to help manifest all of this stuff that you're putting in front of me? Because it ain't going to be me. He said he supplies for all my needs. So if my kids need to go somewhere, who's going to take them? Who am I going to partner with? Who's going to be on my team? Who is my team for the year? Who is it? And remember to call and use that village. And God's going to show you people in your village that you see one way. He's going to be like, well, wait, have you considered this person? That person got stuff to do in the afternoon. Ask them again. In 2018, they did. But in 2019, God's going to use them in a different way in your life. Or he's going to tell you to get on care.com, or he's going to tell you to ask the lady at church, or he's going to give you a direction for a person that you may not have even visualized in the same capacity, because he does new things, and we have to be willing and ready to hear and hearken and not use old prayers. So the fresh prayer is, what is your will concerning? Who are the resources concerning? How are you ordering my steps? What's step one? And take step one and rock with step one until he gives you the next step. But making sure that he is included so that you know, that makes your intuition muscle so strong because you're so clear, because you called on the one who's the source to give you the resource, which is the courage, the bravery, the boldness, and assurance to be the woman that you need to be. It gives you so much clarity that when other people, including your small children, come to question your judgment, you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight. This decision is not even about me. This actually came from a higher power. So we both gonna rock with this, and you're gonna have to deal with, you're gonna have to roll with this one. However you need to feel your feelings, you feel them, but you're gonna be in position, graced as a woman, to feel confident, strong, and assured that you're in the right place at the right time. And it will give you the success that you want, so that you have space for those dreams, so that if it's a business, you have the bandwidth. If it's traveling, you have the bandwidth. If it's finding money resources that were not available last year, you'll have new bandwidth because you start organizing according to that godly intuition that gives you the strength to walk in your grace. And that is it for me. I hope that encourages each one of you to ask that question and to sit with that question and be confident in the answers and not get caught up in the process, but just listen to the voice, write it down. It might redirect some of the things that you have on your board, but trust God that his timing is preparing you for the right season for everything that you are called to be.
Yes, ma'am.
There she is.
Yes, yes, yes. I feel like I need to take up an offering, Sybil. So you just hold tight.
You got my address. You know my offering address.
This has been all for night. This entire night has been blessing us.
Yes. Oh, I love it. So as Sybil said, we're co-founders and we're friends. And when we started the Great Girlfriends podcast, I was pregnant. And I think one of the things as women that we don't always leverage are our relationships. So we have friends, and we have friends that Sybil and I used to talk all the time about business and about ideas and about vision and about dreams. And we decided to kind of take all of that and say, well, how can we actually do something together? And so I think that there's so much power in collaboration. And in 2019, I'm going to encourage you guys, as you write down your vision, as you write down your dream, I want you to also think about, who can I collaborate with on this dream? We don't have to go at everything alone. If you look at kind of entrepreneurs that get funded, that get millions of dollars in funding, they usually always come to the table as a pair, as two co-founders, or as three people, except when it comes to people of color. And so we usually go at it by ourselves, but you don't have to go at this by yourself. So as you're writing down your dreams and you write it down your vision, I want you to think about, who is it that I can collaborate with? Now, the other thing that I've started to learn in actually last year, I think I've learned it, but throughout my entire process of entrepreneurship, God has shown me that he can do more than we can think, than I can think, dream, or imagine. So at the end of last year, I had been sowing seeds and doing this business for 10 years and have been pushing. Last year was so incredibly tough for me. It was tough financially. I had gotten into debt during the event because it ended up raining and I had to rent tents that I didn't expect to have to rent. My husband had put money on his credit card for those, so it affected my household. And it was really tough. And I said to God, Lord, I surrender. Whatever you want my business to be, you can let it be. And I have a friend who's been telling me for years, Brandis, you have to surrender. And so I said, God, I surrender. The only thing I want is a brand partnership. I want a brand partnership. I want to partner designers with a brand and bring a product to life. I said, I'm not planning for any events for next year. I'm not doing a sponsorship deck. I'm not doing anything. I just want whatever you want for me. And that one thing led to more than I could have ever imagined. First of all, within 10 years, I had never had a brand call me and say, Brandis, we have this money. We want to do an event with HFR. What can we do? Ever have anybody call me and say, here's a check, make something happen with it. And that happened after 10 years. The next thing that happened is I got an email from Nike who wanted me to partner designers with LeBron James to bring a shoe out. I would have never in a million years thought to even pray for that. And so I'm always telling people to think big and go bigger and ask for more. But in this case, I didn't even think that big. I didn't even have the capacity to think that big. However, what this has shown me is, Brandis, what else are you leaving on the table? So sometimes we leave things on the table because instead of us going for the thing up there, we say that's totally unattainable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all my effort here. But guess what? It's the same amount of effort. Mm-hmm. So you might as well go for the big thing because no matter what, you're going to have to take a lot of effort to get it done. And so as you're thinking about your dreams and your visions, when you start seeing yourself put safeguards in place, I want you to challenge yourself. When you start telling yourself, that's my big dream, but that's crazy, I actually want you to put that dream on your vision board. When you start putting things up there, you go, oh my God, that's my dream, but I don't know anybody that knows them. I want you to put that dream on you. The ones that you don't have any relationships, any contacts, you don't have enough money to get it done. Those are the dreams I want you to put on your vision board. Because here's the thing. You don't have to have it. God has it. And he's the ultimate connector. The ultimate connector. Now I said, Mom, I really want to honor Michelle Obama this year for HFR. Now I don't have her, so don't y'all get excited. But let me tell you what happened. I ended up going to a brunch with a woman who we totally connected. And she said, you know, Michelle, I didn't say anything about what I wanted, but what she said to me was, you know, yeah, my daughter works in politics. Michelle Obama actually asked her personally to be a part of this board. Well, guess what? I haven't asked her yet, but that's my contact. Immediately, God showed me, even when you think, like, I never in a million years knew that I didn't know who she was. I had met her for the first time. I didn't know who her daughter was. I didn't know her daughter had that relationship, right? But I said it. And so I think sometimes we hold ourselves back because we're not putting out there what we really want. We're safeguarding everything, you know? And so Sybil and I have finally made a decision. You know what? Let's go for a television show. Guess what? Then people started to contact us about television shows. We said, you know what? We want to write a book. You know, we want to get a book published. We want to have a whole imprint. That's Sybil. We want to have a whole imprint with a publisher. Guess what? Now we have things, opportunities on the table. So you have to be willing to you have to be willing to not stop your own dreams. We stop our own dreams thinking about what we ain't got, thinking about, oh my God, I got a toddler, how this gonna work. If Sybil and I do a morning show every morning, guess what? I have no idea how Sky is gonna get to school every morning. Sybil has no idea how Sam is gonna get to school, but guess what? We're gonna figure it out. And so sometimes you just have to go for what you want and let all the other stuff will figure itself out. God will give you wisdom on how to handle everyone else. But if he's giving you the opportunity, you walk through the door. So the last thing I'm going to say before I leave is when you get ready to do your vision board, what I would love for you to do is I want you to say, what are 2 big dreams that scares the crap out of me? two big dreams that scares me so bad. I know these are things that God has given me to do, but they scare me so bad. When I think about it, my chest hurts. And I want you to write those down at the top of your vision board, because they are truly possible. Truly possible. And I'm super excited for you guys. I'm super excited about this year. Thank you so much, Dominique, for inviting us to be a part of this experience. I'm excited to have you all as great girlfriends, because I'm sure once you guys listen to the podcast, you'll know all about me and Sybil's mom.
I listen to every episode.
Wow, thank you so much.
Every time, I'm telling you, like somebody, like, so what brings me to the Great Girlfriends is I was having, like I went through this, having a business venture, and as I was launching this business venture, I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. It's time for the pitch competition. And when I was ready for the pitch competition, I had a miscarriage. And I lost, I knew that I lost the baby. And I could feel, I mean, the cramping, everything, the work. So I still, in my brain, it was like, out there. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, why do I still go out there? Like, what is going on? So I literally like got half the paper towel roll, stuffed it in the pants, and walked out there and got mic'd up to do the pitch. And so I did the pitch. I still, you know, I let the pitch. You would never know that something was happening to me. My husband was in the back, and I walked to him and I said, babe, we lost the baby. And I said, let me lean against you because I'm getting weak. So I leaned against him and just sitting there. I finished watching the program. I finished watching people do their pitch competition. And then after I leaned on him, I was like, okay, we can go now. And he was like, you need to go to the hospital. And I kept saying, no, I'm just gonna stay here, you know, and I just want to watch the show, like trying to get my brain off of what just actually happened. And as I go to the car, you know, I go to the car, and I looked at my husband and was like, it's gonna be all right. And like the song, what was crazy was before the pitch competition, the song kept playing on the radio when it was popular on the radio with Shirley Caesar. And it was like, it's going to be all right. I'm like, okay, why do they keep playing this song? And then I looked at him and said that afterwards. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like I just, like God was giving me the strength I needed to go through that entire pitch competition. And for some reason, like I wanted to just break down and cry, you know, like, and just say, forget it, you know? And then I started realizing that like, it was a moment where I was like, oh, wow, I'm always trying to be strong. When strong can sit down, strong can say, I'm okay. I'm not okay. Strong can say, I need help. Strong can say, like, it's okay that I, you know, can turn down doing the competition. Like I was so focused on doing something that it was an inconvenience. It became an inconvenience because I was like, this is such an inconvenience because, you know, I was busy working on this particular goal, you know, and I really wanted to do this competition. And here we are. Now I have a miscarriage. And I'm like, nothing was processing. I was super sad. Don't get me wrong. I was super sad, but nothing was processing. It was kind of like, okay, this happened, but I have this speech. Like, so I learned like the power of just being still and understanding, like after it happened, I understood like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, I had the opportunity to, I should not have done that. And it's like having that miscarriage humbled me to say, wow, I need to sit down. I need to slow down. I need to, you know, just learn how to breathe and say, it's not okay. I need to learn how to talk to people and say, hey girl, you might see these posts about me going out here and speaking. They're like, you look good speaking, but I wanted to say, don't look at that speech. Because I was really broken down. I wanted to cry. I wanted to say, you guys looking at me and you don't even know marriage, you know? And it just helped me understand like the value of the community and having your girlfriend. So one of my friends was like, when I talked to her, I was like, I've never opened up and I know this is going to make me look weak. And she was like, oh no, this doesn't make you look weak. You know, like what you like she said, you have to understand that like it doesn't have an appearance, like you're not supposed to always be all the time. And even if it seemed like an inconvenience or something, or if it doesn't go the way you had in mind and you don't know how to pivot or be easy to pivot, like you have to just say no, and it's all right. Everything will work out no matter how inconvenient it may seem, but it's all in your head at the end of the day when you feel like, you know, if you don't do something, inconveniencing somebody else. And she told me about the Great Girlfriends podcast. So I started listening to the Great Girlfriends podcast and I never stopped. So like I rewind episodes. I mean I rewind the heck out of episodes and still listen to it like every time I need to just like breathe. So every week, you know, listen to the rewinds. I listen to the like all the Pivot series. Like it was just a series of episodes, and because of listening to your podcast, it has helped guide me and change my mindset and what strong looks like and what purpose looks like and boldness. So I just want to say thank you guys, and that's why, you know, it's intention with everyone that's chosen to be a guest speaker tonight, because it all like ties into some pivotal moments in my life. And I just want to say thank you to you.
Yes.
But the Great Girlfriends is a podcast to listen to. I'm telling you, it is some different things that can help you change your mindset, get your life right. So thanks y'all.
Thank you so much for sharing that and for being vulnerable enough to tell that entire piece. My heart was like, I'm sure Sybil, both of us like stopped breathing for a minute, right? So thank you so much for sharing that, because we have that very, you know, we have that very strong thing in us that feel like we have to keep going and going. And, you know, Sybil took a 2-week sabbatical, I think at the end of September, October. And it was so helpful for me to see her do that. And to see her say, I'm going to unplug. And I think as women, and now guess what? I'm about to take mine.
Yes.
And, you know, and I think it's important, but seeing her do that helped to inspire me to say, you know what, I need a break. And so I think as women, we have to actually take a moment and say, you know what, it's okay if I take a week and I don't look at work. I don't look at my ambition. I literally take naps, and guess what? I've been taking 2 baths a day.
Hello.
It's okay.
That's the moment.
Yes. That's okay, because it pours back into you so that you have something to give to everyone else. So
Yes.
Thank you.
That idea, Dominique, that we have to look like something that we're not all the time. It teaches us to be so dishonest, and it tears and destroys at the authenticity of our relationships, first with God, because then we start trying to pretty up to go before God. And he doesn't want that. He wants our honest, sincere heart. He wants the truth of where we are. Then with ourselves, we got to pretty up to look in the mirror. We got to pretty up to go put clothes on. We got to be perfect size to pick out clothes. And in our relationships with other people, if I could leave y'all with one thing that Brandis and I know we've shared in our 9 years, is just raw naked, like honesty in all our friendships, just really being 100. Because we want our friendships to be real, our relationships to be real. And you give so much more advantage to the people in your life to love on you. Each one of us, when we are raw and honest about who we are and where we are, we give people the chance to show up. People sometimes don't even know how to show up because we're so strong, we're rock solid, and they're like, oh, she's good, because we're so busy lying to ourselves. And when I had that diagnosis, I was like, all right, Lord, I know I can't blast this from the rooftop, but who do I talk to? And God gave me a list of people. And I sent an email. I said, listen, me and my husband got this diagnosis. This is going to be a fight, but we're going to win this. And we need you in our corner. And here it comes. And it was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my entire life, because I didn't know I had enough courage to fight for any life other than my own. But earlier this year, Brandis forwarded me that email from 2011 that she got in her inbox. And I read it and I was like, gosh, we're so much stronger than we realize, than we ever give ourselves credit for. Like, we are so much stronger, more powerful, more resilient than the enemy wants us to think. We have to keep these things in front of us as reminders. I hope that reminded her how strong she is as a friend to me, that she made that list. It was a small list of people, but I sent that to her and she kept that email and she forwarded to me. And I forgot what I asked for in that moment, but I had to remind myself. And you need to be able to remind yourself of your strength. Your strength is in your vulnerability. That's where Christ showed his strength every single time. He said, take this cup from me. He was being vulnerable and saying, I don't like the emotion of this thing, but I'm going to do this anyway. Right? So I think sometimes we just have to remember what that vulnerability shows us and teaches us, and the advantage that it offers us. And I don't care if we look weak, we look human, right? Aren't we human?
Yes.
Mamas, we are human.
Yes.
You know, but we tend sometimes to want to be the best looking mama. I just want my people to be good. If I have honest human citizens that don't do crazy stuff, if they go to jail, it could be for civil rights or human rights. It can't be for stealing at Walmart. You know, they could go to jail for a good cause. But we all working towards the same thing, which is to raise good humans and to come out of it strong and powerful and capable and have the ability to do what God has called us to do. So your testimony just really blessed me just tremendously, because we don't know all these things.
Right.
And maybe that's an example to the next woman who has a podcast in her heart or a book on her heart, a business on her heart that wants to serve other women. I've never met Dominique in person. Brandis, I think you may have, right?
Not in person, but we've
virtual.
Virtually.
We've had lots of video conversations.
But look at how people's hearts can connect. Look at that. You know what I mean? It's all because you decide to walk in that thing that you're called to do and be courageous enough to do it. And God brings the right people together. So you blessed us, girl. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Can we give it up for the girlfriends? Y'all are amazing.
Yay, they are outstanding.
And thank you all so much. Hold on one second. No feedback. How many?
That's me.
There we go. Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right,
are we going to
perfect.
do
Thank you all
another
so much
question,
for
LB?
That amazing, just the nuggets that you dropped. And I know that you all have to leave, but I wanted to see if there was, and she also, they put their information in the actual chat room so that you can follow them on Instagram and definitely keep in contact. But is there just one question? Do you have time for one question, Ray, or you gotta go? Because I know you're open.
I have time for one.
I have a question if you guys can hear me.
Yes.
So my question is for Brandis. I basically realized this year that I have a fear of failure. I think everybody has it, but you just kind of suppress it, and it's why you don't do certain things. I'm a mother to 2 stepchildren, so I don't have children of my own. So I've known Dominique for 11 years, and Dominique, I don't think you've ever seen me break down like ever. I'm always that strong one. I can do it all. I can be there for my sorority. I can volunteer in the community. I can be a good stepmom. I can be a good wife. And 2018, I just lost it all. And I just realized that mentally I can't be everything for everyone. So I'm taking your advice and I'm writing down 2 things that I want to do that I think are impossible. The reason they're impossible is because I'm so strong, I don't ask for help. Won't ask for help, won't do it. The 2 things I want to do are achievable, but I won't ask for help. So my question to you is, you referenced that you wanted your organization, your foundation to work with Michelle Obama, right?
Yeah.
And so you said that you connected with someone who has a connection. So I want to ask you a question, because this is my first step in asking for help. How are you going to open that conversation so that you don't look like a leech trying to get to Michelle Obama, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell her before this conversation, before I met with you, I want you to know that this is what I wanted. When we were sitting there and you told me that, I wanted to say it, but I did not want to look like that person that was.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell her the truth. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's it. Honesty and vulnerability and transparency is the best way. And
keep that in mind, Brandis. I'm gonna reach out to you.
it is the best way. It really is. You know, even though sometimes we're tempted to do other things, me included, it is absolutely the best way. And here is the thing. Guess what? We all have that fear. We all have that fear of failure. And actually, the biggest fear we have is success. What if this actually freaking worked?
Absolutely.
Right? That's the fear we really have. What if this worked? What is that going to require from me? What are people going to be expecting from me? Mm-hmm. And it's our mind's way of protecting us. So you have to start surrounding yourself by things that are telling you, like, whether it's podcasts that you're listening to or books that you're reading. So you have to start feeding your mind a different story. And it's still, you're still gonna have fear, because I still have fear. Even 11 years in, there's things I have fear about. Now, the one thing you're gonna have to do is ask for help. Now, I'm really good, so will tell you, at asking for help.
I can do it alone, I swear.
I am the queen of asking for help, because I know that I can't do any of the things that I do without asking for help. But here's the thing, I'm also willing to give help.
Yes.
And you seem like you're willing to give a lot of help, and it's not cool when you're friends with somebody and they just okay with always helping you, but they'll never accept your help. That's not cool, right? You know, it doesn't make me feel good if I feel like I'm always the one asking for help, and dang, I ask her what she needs. She always like, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
So then there's a disconnect between us. It basically, I can't really share an intimate space with you because I feel like you have a wall up. So the friends that I'm closest to are the friends who they need help, I need help, and we are both honest about needing that help. I have other friends who they don't ever need help, and unfortunately, it hinders the intimacy in our relationship.
That's good.
Thank you.
No problem.
And what's your name, my love? I see L Dandy.
Latasha Dandy.
Okay, Latasha. So Latasha, I need you to make sure we start changing that S on our chest from super woman to I need support woman.
And
right.
You know, that's not what I thought Brandis was gonna say. I thought she was gonna say everyone doesn't want to have to ask for help. But she said the people who ask for help don't always want you to say you don't need help.
Yeah.
How about that?
Very true.
Absolutely.
Very true.
And get accountability around that. Since you already know that's a challenge for you, find someone who can give you accountability around that, so that, you know, you always have someone you're checking in with. And when you feel yourself doing it, you can just confess to them, hey girl, this is what just happened. This is what I did. Hold me accountable next time.
Awesome.
Can I
Brandis, thank you so much. Sure, Sybil.
Real quick, your 95-year-old self is gonna thank you if you start practicing what Brandis is doing now. When you need to go to the doctor, when you need to have somebody help you get around and handle things in your home and run you to the bank, or I'm telling you, we only thinking about right now, but when we get to be in our senior years, we want people around us that automatically know to plug into our lives. And what Brandis is saying opens a room for that. I see it from my own parents. One parent don't ask for help and don't have none, except for my mama, who helps him, who always allows support and serves everyone. And she gets, to this day, she is served daily by her friends and family. So I see the difference, and it helps me think about my 95-year-old self. And Brandis is absolutely right. She's absolutely, if we don't practice it now, I'm telling you, when we're older, we'll want to have everything she's talking about.
Absolutely. Sybil, Brandis, thank y'all so much. We appreciate you staying on even longer than you were supposed to. We appreciate you so much. I don't know if you're staying, Sybil, but I know, Brandis, you may have to leave. Please make sure you stay in contact.
So I have a 6 a.m. flight. So
yes.
I am jetting out, but thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. Thank you, Dominique. It was an honor to be
Hey,
here.
Thank you, Brandis.
Yes. Rose is the bomb, y'all. She helps keep me and Sybil in line. So Rosie is actually the productivity coach for the Great Girlfriends.
Yes. Hire her. When you log off, go get your first package. I don't know what she.
I know, because of y'all, that's what made me reach out to Roseanne.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
He's getting my life together too.
I think Brandon said it. You're leveraging your relationships this year. So I love that. So hopefully that's something that everybody is taking into consideration when you're moving forward and making your dreams come true. You can't do it by yourself. You can't. So let's get rid of that mindset that we're a strong individual. We are, yes, we are, but we would be so much stronger if we would leverage and use those relationships that we've been nurturing for all these years. So thank you again, ladies. Before we move into our final speaker, I do believe Roseanne has something to share before the strategy session.
I do. So Latasha made a really good point. one of the things that I coached women about is called the imposter syndrome. And it's something that I struggled with on my own. I never heard of the term until I started going through it. So pretty much what it is you feel like you're a fraud or someone is going to find out that you're not as good, right, Latasha? So your sorority sisters are probably like, oh, Latasha's the truth. Or your stepchildren are always like, oh my God, she's so amazing. And then you have this small fear that one day someone is going to find out, I'm not that strong. I'm not that smart. I'm not that good. And what I found interesting is that women like Oprah, Michelle Obama, Maya Angelou, after she wrote her 11th book, was still going through this. So it's okay. We can get through it together. But basically, it's something that tries to hold us back. It's a form of self-sabotage. Like, I don't want people to find out that I'm not really that great. People keep saying, oh, she's so great, she's so strong. I don't want people to find out that I'm not that great. And that's an imposter syndrome that we have to work through. The other thing I wanted to say really quickly is on your vision board, if you could put be authentic or be vulnerable. Because a lot of times, you know, we go with the material things or the physical things, but there's certain behaviors that we need to break to become the best version of ourselves. You know, in 2018, one of the big things we heard was check on the strong ones. A lot of times we get upset or we wonder, how come someone's checking on me? Well, if you always have the facade that you're okay, why anybody needs to check on you? They know what you're going to say. I'm okay, right? So we have to be vulnerable. There is intimacy in being vulnerable. There is honesty and truth, and it's authenticity. So if you just put on your vision board, whether it's to be authentic, to be transparent, to gain more intimate relationships, you know, like people keep talking about tribe and village and squad, but if it's just about picture, selfie, there's so much more to it. It's about intimacy, authenticity, transparency. So definitely leverage those relationships. Hey, Sybil!
She preaching.
That's it.
Y'all gonna have us broke tonight because we gonna be passing collection plates and cash apps all night long. And I love what you said, Roseanne. We're actually gonna talk about this toward the end, right before I bring on Dominique. But you said be authentic, be vulnerable. And I want to encourage you ladies to put the two most important affirmations on your vision board, and that is I am. Write that down. Whatever you believe, whatever you think, and you attach I am to it, you will become. Yes. So if Roseanne is telling you to be authentic, to be vulnerable, when you are speaking those words into existence, make sure you declare that I am vulnerable.
Love that.
I am authentic, because whatever you attach to I am and believe, you will become. And on that note, we are going to bring up our last speaker, who is the creator of Bold Like a Mother and feels it's her purpose to host vision and strategy parties once a year to remind moms that even when they feel their time is limited, their goals don't have to be. She is the wife to her loving husband, William, and mother of 4 children, y'all, ages 9, 7, 5, and 8 months old. Please welcome my girl, your girl, Dominique Townsend.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all.
Hey, girl. Hey.
So we're going to get started with the strategy session. I did have music, but I know I was trying to play it. Y'all
don't nobody here but you. Don't
right, I'm sitting there dancing. I was like, that explains why everybody's like, what's she doing? Make a move to the air.
We ain't heard nothing.
No one can hear me. Oh, let me see how you treat me. Hopefully an ad doesn't play before it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 15-minute strategy session. So you have your paper and pen ready. Let me see if I can get Golden to play on the phone without an ad coming up. There goes an ad. Hold on, let me fix it. Can you guys hear that part?
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Hey.
Now it makes sense. See? I'm on beat. Let's see. I will be going to a share screen. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. And so tell me if you guys see it. Do you see it now? Oh gosh, I didn't click the share button. Hold on. Now can you see it?
Yeah.
That would help, Dominique.
Thank you.
Yes, we see it.
So I like creating like shiny stuff and presentation slides with a little, even in the boardroom, I occasionally put like a dash of glitter. They're like, what is it at the top? Like they're gonna get some of this shiny and stuff.
Right. That feminine touch.
Right. So I am going to be talking, providing a strategy. So we have, I put that, I'm print screening the things. Why did I print screen? It's supposed to do something else. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so this strategy session is entitled The Bose Effect. So the Bose Effect is every year, like I like to think of someone that inspires me to develop a strategy to win in the new year. So last year I had Mignon Francois. She's the founder of the Cupcake Collection. So she inspired me because she talked about joy and finding your joy and how when there's power in saying yes to God and giving it all to Him and taking that one step forward in the direction you need to take. So my strategy that I was working on was the joy strategy, which was the Mignon Effect. So she is the founder of the Cupcake Collection. This year, the person that has been inspiring me throughout the year is Bozoma, also known as Bose St. John. So she, if you haven't heard of her, she is bad. I mean, she is bad. She is right now she's currently the chief marketing officer for Endeavor. She was the chief brand officer of Uber, and she's also been involved. If you like Beyonce, like I do, with her virtual friends. I am her background dancer, but she is like, she did a lot of the Pepsi commercials for Beyonce. She coordinated that and was behind the creative juices that were flowing, and how do they have an ad where they can utilize Beyonce but also increase sales. She's worked with Apple Music. So this is a person that has inspired me because throughout her interviews and anything that she does, she's always authentic. Like she delivers these game-changing assignments. You know, the thing that happened with Uber, with having a lot of it was a lot of questions of the integrity of the company because of the CEO at that time. Transitioned out, they needed somebody to come and help change the game, get Uber back where the brand was still popular within America. So they kind of helped. She kind of helped spearhead the brand and rebrand them and their approach and how they interact with customers and keeping them. And as you can see, Uber is still at the top of the game of the ride share. So just in that, like a lot of times when she speaks, she always emphasizes on being authentic. And she's known for her fashion. She's known for her personality and style. But she can have on a shiny rainbow color skirt, hence the rainbow background. The rainbow color skirt in a boardroom full of like middle-aged white men and hold it. Like she doesn't apologize. Her hair's big, like her braids are long, like whatever it is, she's just authentic. So it inspired me to drive the leading of this strategy session using the Bose Effect. So she's also a mom to Lael. So if you are on Instagram, she is the Badass Bose, BADASSBOZ. That's her Instagram handle, and she's dope. She's super dope. Okay, so now I'm going to get started with the strategy. So we have 3 key things to keep in mind as you go throughout the year, but all of the information that you learned today, make sure that you write down actionable items as it relates to the strategy. So I want to tie in everything that people have said today, and I want you to use it in this particular exercise. So the number 1 strategy to win in 2019 is embracing the space that you hold. So we talked about gratefulness. We talked about having gratitude and expressing thanks. What have you been thankful for today, and what have you complained about? So write down what you have been thankful for today, and then what have you complained about today?
Them kids.
Right, I complained about a lot this morning. It's a true, like right before the vision party, I almost caught the house on fire trying to put some burgers on a skillet. I walk in, so I was complaining about it's just too much going on. Have to cook all these meals for all these kids, like having it normal. So I'm definitely putting that down. Just complaining, like I didn't really have nothing to complain about. Only one burger burnt, so that was mine. Everybody else fries. Hopefully the fries in the air fryer got open and somebody got the fries out. If not, there's extra fries for me.
Right.
And I didn't I put I have on a jogging suit outfit up under this this dress because I was like, I'm gonna party some kind of way. So like those things. Tasha says she loves burnt burgers. Yes, especially crispy on the edges. Okay, so evaluate your list. So now you're looking at the things that you complain about, and you're looking at the things that you were thankful for. What's more? What's bigger? Like somebody unmute themselves. Do you notice that you're complaining a lot more than you're being thankful for things in your daily activity? Like things that you're worried about that you shouldn't even be worried about. Things that you complain about, but there's always a solution, and it's nothing that you should be surprised about. Like me, I shouldn't be surprised that every time I want to do something, no matter how convenient. This was convenient. I literally had to walk into my daughter's room to sit down in front of the laptop. Something always happens, but it always works out. Every day. It's something that's not I'm not surprised. Like it always happens. So why am I acting like I'm surprised and complaining about things not being convenient? And I need to just digress. So I know for me, it's kind of like, wow, I'm complaining more than I was thankful for today. So I want you to put down, write this affirmation, not this affirmation, but this charge for yourself. Charge yourself to say, I will no longer complain about the things that I should be thankful for. So even when the kids, trying to arrange for the kids, and you're okay, with kids and goals. So that was the biggest thing. That's why I really catered to moms. I've gotten feedback, believe it or not. I get a lot of DMs that are they're not positive. They're kind of like, why can't you do stuff for all women? Why moms? Have vision parties for all people. This is purpose just for moms. Because with moms, we have this dynamic that we can't just leave at the house and walk away. We're always moms. We don't, all the time, no matter how old our children are, no matter what phase they are in life, we still have this, we still tied to human beings. And oftentimes, we start getting stretched on time, we start getting stretched on thoughts, and it interferes with our path for our goals, or we think it interferes with our path on working towards our goals. So the thing that we need to focus on is just being thankful for our family, being thankful for the house. If you tripped over something in the house, be happy that you had a house to trip on something in. So just those basic things we got to keep in mind and embrace the space. So if you're not where you want to be in your life right now, learn how to embrace where you are by being thankful about the things you can control. There might be a lot of chaos that you feel like you're experiencing, but there are some things that you can control, but you're so busy focusing on, oh gosh, I don't have enough time for this. I didn't get ready for that. I got to prep for this. You're so busy doing that you're missing out on focusing on the things you can control. So I know it's kind of hard to let it go and focus on the things that you can control, but you have to at least try increase one at a time, one day at a time. You're okay, I'm gonna do it where I'm gonna be more thankful for the things that I complain about and just focus on the things that I can control. So that's the number one strategy. And look at your list so that kind of allows you to see wow, I'm doing a lot of complaining. I need to stop it. How does that can impact your drive and your goal to be bold. Okay, let me get this life together.
Dominique, can you say that one more time? I will no longer complain.
I will no longer complain about the things I should be thankful for.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So number 2 strategy to win, stay authentic in unfamiliar crowds. So this ties into a lot of things that were said tonight. We really have to, there's power in authenticity. There's power in being yourself. For me, I would never talk about vulnerable moments or things that are ugly or lead me to cry. But lately, I could cry at the drop of a hat now. But before, you would not catch me talking about things that made me appear as someone who did not have it all together. And what I learned is that it impacted my sanity, because even at home, I would struggle and be gosh, everybody expects me to be strong. So the second I show weakness or what I thought was weakness, that people will think, oh gosh, what's wrong with you today? Now I've learned it's power in the authentic. Hey, I have an off day. It's okay. I don't have to always be on, so I took that pressure off myself of trying to always be on, trying to always, because we don't fit in. You're not going to fit into a crowd. So if it feels unfamiliar, you do not have to be a chameleon. You just need to be yourself, and the right people will connect to you. And if you feel like, oh gosh, I really wanted to connect to A, B, and C people, or this type of organization, or whatnot. Like if you get into the professional women organizations, I want to say like organization, I meant like the cliques within like the events you go to. You notice how some of them bunched together, they probably came in and you're coming in and you're like trying to be associated with the people around. So, and you're like, oh, well, let me blend in with them. Or if you ever done that before, like I have in the past, where I will blend in and I would try to blend in and I would go, wait a minute, I'm not being, authentic. Like I have to keep that facade going. So it's easier to just be authentic than it is to try to blend in, because you have to keep up with that. So stay authentic. We have a lot going on our plates to try to keep up a facade. That's not us. Strategy number 3. Oh, with number 2, write down a time that you have not been authentic. Write down a time that you have not been authentic. Where did you feel like you were faking the funk? One of the things, when it gets around holiday seasons, I always say you got family, you got relatives. So it's a difference. You got the relatives. You see them every holiday season, but those are the ones that always express opinions, telling you about your life. They base what you do based off of your Facebook post, not even realizing like half of what you do in your life. Like with me, I didn't even post about being an engineer, because I don't post about that. It's not. I mean, it's something I do, but it's not something like, okay, engineer, like that. It's just a skill set that I have. And I remember getting comments about, well, you're no longer an engineer. What are you doing? I see these entrepreneur events. Entrepreneurs don't make stable money every month. So, like all of that coming from relatives that are just criticizing every step I make, and they don't even know what's going on. So it's kind of like, wow, let me just stay authentic to myself. Let me stop trying to blend in and cater to this relative of saying, well, I'm trying, and I'm still an engineer. Like, no, like I post what I post. That's your fault. That's what you think. But let me tell you this. I don't want you to feel comfortable enough to come to me and give me opinions. So when you're authentic with yourself, you're more comfortable to tell people, like you're comfortable to tell people to stop. You're more comfortable to tell people to stop when you're in your authentic realm. So number 3 for the authentic part. I'm sorry, y'all, I forgot because I wrote it down on another sheet. So with the authentic part, when you talk about the time you was not authentic, you need to talk to yourself and say, how will you change that? So maybe it's a time where you felt like, hey, I was being a little fake with that. What are the things that you would do to change that? So write one action item of what will you do to change that. For me, I'll talk about what I've been unauthentic in. So I remember, like, I was at this event and I was trying to like blend in with the crowd so I can meet one person that would be a good connection into a corporate business. So I figured I had to like blend in with the conversation, talk to them and be like, oh yeah, that's what I do. And I'll be willing to do A, B, C, but it really was like, no, like I'm just doing that to cater to be convenient to what they were talking about. When I could have just been myself and say, hey, I'm looking for an opportunity. I would love to offer my services at your company. And, instead I just went all the way around, volunteered myself for half of the things that she was talking about. And, for me, I was like, why did I do that? All to try to get a connection. Like, that's not authentic. It's like, it's just using a relationship or using that as a way. Like, I'm like, no, I can just be authentic and say, I'm looking to offer my services. If there's an opportunity, please let me know. Or, if there's anything that I can do in relation to the things I really came for versus just saying yes to things that they were just talking about in the crowd. So make sure you do that. So let me check the chat real quick. Yes, y'all are just putting some nice stuff in here. I'm telling you. So, okay, back to the work. So now, number 3, strategy to win. Be bold in the pivot. Be bold in the pivot. I'm telling you, like, it's like things don't have to go, like, the way we plan things out, we're really strict on that plan. And if it doesn't go the way that we thought it should go, we get frustrated. And a lot of times, some people delay their goals. Some people push it back. Some people say, you know what, I don't even feel like dealing with it because it's not working out. It doesn't mean that is you, but it's your strategy. So you might need to pivot and do something that's in alignment with the things that make sense. So for me, for instance, I wanted to do, it started out as a documentary, The Rise of the Working Mother. The Rise of the Working Mother, I went to a company and was trying to gas up the Rise of the Working Mother by saying we have this, this is what we do. But all I really wanted to do was just express the story of the Rise of the Working Mother. But companies were not really like listening to what I was trying to say because they said that I was more of an advocate, and they were not looking for an advocate for working moms. They were looking for people that were consultants, and so they worked for all employees. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I really wanted to be the Rise of the Working Mother. So what happened was I had a come to Jesus talk with myself, and I said, you know what, let me see how I can still solve the problem of the working mother and do things that I'm really passionate about in my skill set. So I had to pivot my entire business. And this year I'll be working on the pivot part. So it's going to look totally different. And I know people are going to be like, wait a minute, Dominique is doing that. I thought she was just doing this. But it's like I have to focus on being in alignment in the direction that I need to take, that I really truly feel that it's my purpose. And it's going to cause me to pivot. So this year is going to be a super bold year. So those are the 3 strategies to win. And that's does anybody have any questions on the 3 strategies to win? And on the third one, and being bold in a pivot, write what's not working in your life. One thing that you could think that's not working in your life. And then say, what is a solution that you can do to change that? So if you have something like a business, I think all of us are entrepreneurs of our own life, our own family. Like what's not working in your relationships, what's not working, and then what will help you in the pivot. There are resources out there. We have to utilize expertise, like experts, and utilize their expertise. Because one of the things I used to do, I used to like think I could YouTube a free video and figure it out. Like, no, you really have to get with people that are experts in that. It alleviates the pressure of trying to figure out how to be an expert in something. And also it allows you to connect with other people and grow in areas that's beyond your wildest dreams. So that is my portion for the strategy session. So I hope you guys like that.
Let's give it up for Dominique, y'all. Give it up for
Thank you.
Bold like a mother. We're gonna call you bold. We're gonna call you badass, bold, Dominique. How about that? And I absolutely love the 3 points, and I hope that everybody, of course, took notes. Remember of those aha moments. But what really stuck out to me when you talked about pivoting, because sometimes we have an idea of where we're supposed to go, which direction we're supposed to go, but God, like, bro, make a left here. You didn't make a left, you wanted to make a right. And even in our relationships, y'all know I'm a wife coach. And so when I actually just did this earlier this week, I did a live talking about how you need to work on your marriage in 2019. And one of those ways was to take inventory, to really look at 2018, what worked in your marriage. So even as you are looking at your relationships, what worked, what didn't work, and what areas do you need to invest in? So when you think about creating your vision board and creating the vision, writing the vision, making it plain, even a section on there about your relationships, not just businesses, not just, money, but look at health, look at finances, look at spirituality, and look at your relationships. What worked, what didn't work, and what do I need to invest in? So you really want to look at those resources. Like you said, Dominique, these resources are available. The experts are available. And we have some of them here with us tonight, some phenomenal experts that are here with us tonight. And before we even move into our final closing, where we're charging for the year and really setting a vision for how we're moving forward and taking these strategies to move forward, I want to open up the floor for anybody who maybe have been sitting on a question. If you haven't asked anything, even if it's a clarity moment, maybe an aha moment, I want y'all to share that now as we move into our charge for the new year. Because time out for us saying, okay, it's new year, it's a new day, ooh, this is my year. You said that last year.
That is true. That is true.
You said that last year, you said that the year before. This is my year, okay? Every day could be a new year for you. Every day could be a new beginning. So allow this moment, because some of y'all may be afraid to hit that unmute button. Allow this moment.
I'm calling some people out.
First step in being bold.
I'm calling some people
Allow
out.
this moment right now. So I'm looking in the chat room. I want somebody to tell me either you have a question or maybe there's a comment you want to make. This is your opportunity. Let's do it. Be bold.
Tiffany Hines, Hardison. Hey, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out.
Oh my goodness, Dominique. What I just typed about being authentic at work, it seemed to be really hard when they don't want you to be yourself. They want you to be who they want you to be. So I guess I don't understand how to deal with that because I'm always myself and I'm going to tell the truth in whatever I do. So how do you deal with that? You know, trying to be authentic at work.
Ooh, for me, like, I had a problem with, like, making sure that, I think that one of the things, I'm gonna go back where I'm thinking of a lot of experiences about, like, coming into the workplace and people not understanding who I am, too loud, too happy, too this, too that. I wear stripes and they're like, is that representation of is that African? I'm like, I'm wearing stripes. It has no relation. Like, I'm not wearing kids take off. You know, like, it's a experience that you change your hair. It's always like, oh, it's so entertaining. I was like, every time you change your hair, I just love it. It's not a form of entertainment. I learned it from Bose. But, like, your hair is not a form of entertainment. Like, I can change my hair. Like, oh, yours looks the same. You know, like, and so I think the weight and authenticity is also looking at, okay, am I responding like say you like to tell the truth? For me too. I like to tell the truth. I like to make sure I'm being very authentic in my answers, but then I have to check myself. And what I do is I question, am I speaking out of emotional intelligence? Are I speaking to just be right? You know, or do I speak in a certain way because of the person I'm talking to? A lot of times we face incompetent people in these higher roles that want to sound like they're important because they Googled a whole bunch of terms and they find ways to dig into what you do. So that happens, I separate myself and go, this person is not confident enough in themselves. Therefore, I will not give them the energy or the energy of that emotion to where I'm like, okay, really like looking at how do I respond? What things do I say? Like what things do I not say? Let me make sure I'm not coming out of a realm that's taking my emotion because I'm frustrated or like with them. It's kind of like, wait a minute, this person is not confident. It's obviously not confident, but I'm just going to give you this. You know, like I'm still authentic, but I'm taking out certain pieces that I act like I'm the consultant at where I work. So I'm like, okay, I'm into a room and I'm just going to offer you the facts. Here you go, you know, and present it out. But I come at it in a different way, able to share like the same stuff. It's still a little strong for people. So I just learned how to understand the crowd, but I'm not losing my authenticity. So they still know that they're going to get things straightforward. But I noticed that a lot of my emotions from being frustrated was impacting my authenticity. So it wasn't more so just being straightforward. I don't think they have a problem with that. I think it's more of how it's done, or like where does it come from? You know, like I think they dig in deeper. Like some people you can't win with, but for the most part, I've noticed that it was me showing them that I was right, and the other part was they were frustrated to me. Like, you know, this person is incompetent, always coming at me to find something to be wrong or something like that, or question my personality. But then I take it out and say, this person doesn't love himself enough. I'm gonna have to continue to be me, but I make sure I respond in a way that's not, you know, like crazy, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a frustration. It's a daily battle with the authenticity in a familiar crowd.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Tiffany, and I believe Latasha said, yes, Tiffany, feel like you have to check your true self at the door sometimes. Meet people where they are, then rise up a level.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Anybody else want to share something on their heart? This is your moment, y'all. It's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Tiffany.
I'm just saying, they ain't killed themselves yet. I hear them, though.
Oh, no.
Coming to the ceiling. Anybody else want to share something on their heart and mind, any clarity that you received today, anything that stuck out, this is your moment. Be bold.
I want to quickly respond to Tiffany. Dominique, I love what you said about, people being insecure and not feeling confident. And a lot of times the way that they get their power is to try to break someone down. That's really corporate bullying. But anyways, I'll add on to that and say it's also important to be gracious, because I had a situation today where my assistant director sent me an email saying, hey, why did you do such and such instead of such and such? So at first when I saw it, I'm like, because it's the right thing to do. And then I almost let frustration come in, but I said, you know what? She's being petty, but it's also, she's shown her incompetency. She doesn't even realize it. So I just sat on it for a little bit. And at the end of the day, I sent an email back. I said, hey, I could have said, the reason I did this is because this is the way it's supposed to be done. I could have jazzed that up a little bit. But what I said instead is, typically for this group of employees, their benefits are XYZ. So in this case, this was the protocol to follow. If something changed, please let me know. If I responded earlier, that if something changed, please let me know, would have been sarcastic, like, if something changed, let me know. But when I said it at the end of the day, after sitting on it for a little bit, I was like, maybe she doesn't know. Maybe even though she's trying to come at me, maybe she really doesn't realize that this is how it's supposed to be done. So instead of coming like, getting angry or getting upset, it's like what Michelle Obama said, when they go low, what we do, right? We go high. So I just wrote back to her. It's very gracious, giving her the opportunity to either come back and say, oh, I didn't realize it was XYZ, or oh, my mistake, or what she's probably going to do is ignore because she was wrong. But in any case, just be your authentic self. Don't let people take your energy. As Dominique said, people are going to challenge you. They're going to come after you, especially if you go in, like you're saying, Tiffany, you're honest and you're authentic. People want that for themselves, but when they can't get it, they try to break you down. So if that's happening, then that means you got your haters in check, which means you're doing something good. So just keep shining, keep being beautiful, but be gracious. Don't get cocky about it. Don't be nasty about it. Be gracious. We can do so much more with honey than we can with vinegar. Don't let them get you down. Don't stoop to their level.
Thank you. Roseanne, I love that. Thank you so much. And that same, so you want to say, per my email, you want to hear right. Per the last email. But even in our relationships, the same thing you just said, Roseanne, you're supposed to do that with your man. Woo! Come on, y'all. Tame your tongue. It's not Tame Your Tongue Tuesday, but that's one of the ways you tame your tongue. You notice she said she sat on it. That's taming your tongue.
I love that.
Okay, so keep that in mind when it comes to our relationships as well. At this time, we are going to allow one of our speakers, she was our first speaker, Paula, who was telling us all of the tools we needed to move into a successful 2019. And she's going to tap into one of those powers right now and help us end our vision board party and strategy party with prayer. Paula, are you ready?
I am ready. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
Ready. Yes. This was so awesome. I really appreciate not just the opportunity to speak, but the opportunity to be poured into. This was really awesome. Thank you, Dominique. It was amazing.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bless you.
It was amazing. So let's pray. Father God, we just bless you for this this time and this space for us to just share this moment together, Lord. I thank you for the visionary, God. I thank you for Dominique and her family, Lord. May you continue to increase her in creativity, increase her in more of your knowledge and your wisdom and your understanding. And God, every desire of her heart, I pray that it is now multiplied exponentially in Jesus' name. God, I thank you for every speaker, God, and every woman that is on this call, God, whether it's they're on the call live or if they're on the call as a playback. God, I thank you for allowing them to experience and to partake of this type of meal, God. I thank you for the wisdom of every woman, even in the questions that were asked or the comments, God. I thank you for the wisdom of every woman, God. I thank you that even for the women who don't have children or those who have children or whatever the case may be, those who have stepchildren or play children or whatever the case may be, God, I thank you for your power and your might and the ability to continue to be moms, God. Some of us are as aunts, Lord God, or even as sisters, we're moms in a different way. So God, I thank you for allowing us to have that skill set. God, most of all, we just thank you for your power on tonight. We thank you for the ability for us to stand up in who you made us to be, Lord. God, I thank you that you would continue to keep your hand of protection over our lives, over our families, over our careers, God, over our health, over our mental state, over our emotional state, God, even over our money, God. We thank you for increase in all of those areas right now in the name of Jesus. God, I pray for more of your wisdom, more of your knowledge, and more of your understanding to be in our lives, individually, corporately, God. And Lord God, even in the women, Lord God, who are no longer on the call, I thank you that you've gone before them, Lord God, to set a different standard, God, in how we do business, a different standard, God, in how we are wives and mothers, God, a different standard in how we show up, God, to the world. So, Lord, I thank you that every obstacle, Lord God, that was sent to damage us, every obstacle that was sent to hinder our walk, every obstacle that was sent to send us into a place of failure, God. I thank you, God, that right now in the name of Jesus, God, it is cut free at the root, Lord God, and we are no longer bound by those things. But where those things have vacated, Lord God, our spirit and our physical body, we thank you that you have replaced it with love, power, and a sound mind. So, Lord, we just thank you for that. God, as we continue to go throughout our evening, whether we go to bed or we prepare for tomorrow or whatever the case may be, God, I thank you for giving us a sweet peace, God, and rest. God, I thank you that when we lay our heads on our pillow, God, that we don't just go to sleep, but we have rest. Thank you for putting a hedge of protection over our homes, over the street that we live on, over the city that we live in, and even over the states, God, in the name of Jesus. God, we don't take your loving kindness and your gentle mercy for granted, but we're just grateful on tonight, and we're just so thankful. Last but not least, God, I thank you for stirring up the gift that's on the inside of each one of us, God, so that we would not keep it to ourselves, but on a daily basis, we would empty out, God, and your kingdom will be increased even more, God. I thank you, not only will your kingdom be increased, Lord God, but you will allow us to touch people, Lord God, whose lives will be changed, and they too would be empowered to know that it's okay to be a smart woman, and it's okay to be a beautiful woman inside and out, and it's okay to be a powerful woman. So God, I thank you that as we leave this call, we leave with confidence, more confidence, God. We leave knowing, God, that we have been strengthened and empowered. And God, we leave knowing that the best days of our lives are ahead of us, one day at a time. So tomorrow is going to be better than today, and the next day and the next day. God, we love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you, we honor you, and we praise you. And it is in Jesus' name that we pray and say amen.
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 Amen. Y'all get to sing. Everybody say,
Okay. Stop the hymns. That was awesome. Thank you all so much. Dominique, did you have any final words before we let our ladies get back to their families and start writing these visions and making them plain?
Yes. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email and I will reach out to the guest speakers that the questions relate to. And if you need more information on the Instagram pages, the handles, as well as the email address, I will send that out in a follow-up email as well. I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day. Like, you're investing time to learn how we can be bold in the 2019 year. This year is purpose for greatness. And the awesome claims that have been happening throughout the night, and just being phenomenal. And so to all of the guest speakers, thank you to me for the MC, being the official MC of the night. She has helped the entire flow, tie everything together, the entire goal of seeking for Bold Like a Mother. Each year, LB has been there for me, and I'm very appreciative. Thank you, Paula, for your prayer. Thank you for opening up. That's pretty, like, for the first time guest speaking for Bold Like a Mother. Like, I'm super grateful. You have given some insight that we can take and apply for this year. And everybody, I just don't want you to forget the things that you have learned, and make sure you act on it. Tomorrow, act on it. Develop a plan to act on one thing at a time. Don't look at the whole list. One thing at a time and say, okay, at least the one thing I can work on today is this. And Roseanne, thank you so much. Roseanne is my productivity coach as well. So that investment has reaped great dividends and really, like, accomplishing things And I know when getting tasks done, I was like really caught up on getting tasks done at a certain time with Roseanne. She was like, wait a minute, you can do a lot of things. Like, so I would hold a lot of pressure on myself thinking I didn't do anything, actually captured the accomplishments that we made. So we also have to like really give ourselves props for the things that we do, even if we didn't quite hit the goal that we sought to reach. So that's something to keep in mind this year. So a happy announcement is here, and that is the 2020 Bold Like a Mother Vision and Strategy Party will be on January 9th, 2020. So I will send you guys will have a chance to have like early bird special. I'm just went on to set the date. Normally I wait till the last minute. Look at me.
Yay.
That's growth right there.
That's bold right there.
So 2020, we're gonna do the same thing again, and I will be sending out an early bird special, so you'll have half off of the ticket for just purchasing in advance. And I just want to say thank you again. If there's any additional information, let me see on the chat. Oh, great, you put your information. Yeah, set the date. Set the date. So I'm excited. So if there's anything that you guys need to ask, feel free to follow up. Any additional questions, comments, be free. Send. I just said that. I'm getting tired. But yeah, feel free to send it into an email. And you guys have a blessed, bold day. LB, you have anything else to say?
I just thank y'all so much. I want y'all to be bold. When it's time for them to make their vision boards, how can they show them to you? How can they show them off? What's the hashtag? Because we want to hold y'all accountable. Oprah said, let me say this really quickly, y'all. I know y'all gotta go. Oprah said, if you create a vision for your life, the doors will open. If you create a vision for your life, the doors will open, right? So if we think about that phrase, what do y'all think the most important word is?
Create.
If you create, you say create?
Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything
The
else?
action word.
Yeah.
The actual most important word is if, because you have to make the decision.
Woo!
So I want y'all to make a decision to actually go out here and be bold and do, not just be on this call and like, oh, that was cute, thank you, Lord, but really doing something with this. Y'all make the decision. How can they follow up with you, Dominique, with these vision boards they're about to create?
You can do the hashtag bold like a mother. Hashtag bold like a mother. And I can track it that way. And also send me, you can send the email. I change my email like once every 2 months. Seem like that I'm sending out. I'm gonna get that together, y'all. So I am gonna keep Domonique West. So DOMONIQUE.WEST@gmail.com. So Domonique.west@gmail.com. And send me an email with that. And I'll also send out a follow-up too that will have information on how you can contact me and the guest speakers and learn about the services and how they can help you be bold in 2019 year.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right, ladies.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank
No
you.
Ed.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. It was so great meeting you.